Good morning, everyone. It's me, Fatima, all the way from West Africa. West Africa, baby, West Africa. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone is well. I wanted to just come and say hello, first of all, to everyone. And I just got to ask a question. Are y'all seeing what's going on? Are you seeing what's going on in the news? Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. And then I want to show y'all some video clips, and I would love for you all to give me a comment and tell me what you think. I'm just out for my morning walk, and then I just happened to see something come across my news, and I definitely wanted to share it with you all. So, some of you may know, some of you may not know. Russia is in Cuba's waters. Now, I don't know if y'all realize, but Cuba is only like 90 miles. Havana is only like 90 miles to Florida. 90 miles. That's hardly anything, y'all. That's a drive that most people drive, even in the truck driving, in the truck driving business. 90 miles. That's not far at all. That's not far at all. So, you all, Russia is in Cuba's waters. They're doing some exercises, some military exercises. And they did bring their nuclear submarine in the area. However, it doesn't have no nuclear weapons, so they say, on the submarine, which we pray so that it does not. But the fact is, Russia is in Cuba's waters. And if you all don't know, China supposedly have a military base over in Cuba. Y'all, it's time to move. Whether y'all want to accept that fact or not, I don't think some of y'all want to, but y'all, it's time to bust a move. We're going to talk about that. But take a look at these videos, leave a comment or leave a comment below. Make sure you give this video a like and a share. And I'll come back with some more tips on what we need to do to maybe prepare or even think about relocating. As I've said before, y'all, there are other places outside of America to live. Other beautiful places. If you just don't feel like coming to Africa, that's fine. Don't come to Africa, but there's other countries that's going to be safer, don't have the threats, don't have the pressures of what America is doing. And if you don't understand what pressures America is doing, then y'all are just not wanting to see. Y'all see it. You don't want to maybe discuss it, but you see it. Okay? All right, so you all take a look at these videos. Please give this video a like, share, and a comment. I would love to see what you all think about Russia being that close to America. Are you nervous about it? Should you be concerned about it? And trust me, I know the Most High is covering us. There's no doubt about that. I get that. But the Most High can also tell y'all to get the heck out. And the judgments that came over America is not going to change just because we're there. So that's why he's telling many of us to get out. Okay? So let's not be stubborn-headed. Let's not be hard-headed like a slab of granite and don't want to listen. If God is putting on your heart for you to relocate, and you know what, you may could only have to relocate just for a year. We may just have to relocate just for 6 months. Okay? But just know that if he's putting on your heart for you to relocate, he is going to take care of you. Abba Yah is going to take care of you all. He's not going to have you leave, and he does not have a provision for you. You have to trust in that. Okay? You have to trust in that. All right, take a look at these videos. Leave your comment. Tell me what you think. Fatima out.
A 21-cannon salute greeted a fleet of Russian military ships off the coast of Havana on Wednesday. The ships, adorned with Russian and Cuban flags, were followed by a nuclear-powered submarine, all set to take part in military exercises in the coming weeks. The arrival accompanied by a diplomatic visit of Cuba's foreign minister to Moscow, where he and his Russian counterpart both lashed out at Washington.
Cuba reiterates its condemnation of the increasingly aggressive stance of the United States government and NATO, including unilateral sanctions against the Russian Federation.
Russia confirms its position to resolutely support Havana's just demands for an immediate end to Washington's economic, trade and financial blockade of Cuba.
Russia and Cuba are longtime allies, and Russian warships have stopped in Havana before. But the fleet's arrival comes less than 2 weeks after U.S. President Joe Biden authorized Ukraine to use U.S. weapons to strike inside Russia, prompting Vladimir Putin to suggest that Russia could respond elsewhere in the world. With Cuba just 145 kilometers from the U.S. state of Florida, its strategic position has raised U.S. concerns before, sparking memories of the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, when fears spread that Russia would carry out a nuclear attack on U.S. soil. Although the Russian fleet includes a nuclear-powered submarine, a senior U.S. official said intelligence indicates no nuclear weapons are on board any of the ships, and that the Russian deployment posed no direct threat to the United States. The flotilla is expected to stay in the Caribbean through the summer and also visit Venezuela, another Russian ally.
Let's just go quickly right now to the nuclear submarine. Let's show you something that you don't see, I've never seen ever in 12 years of living here. A Russian nuclear-powered submarine, obviously above water, entering the port of Havana, just 90 miles from the United States. You don't get much more potent symbolism than that. This is the largest convoy of Russian warships that has come here in many years, and certainly some of the most sophisticated weaponry that Vladimir Putin has deployed to Cuba in many, many years. We should point out, Cuban officials say there are no nuclear warheads aboard these ships, that they are coming here for peaceful means. U.S. officials have said they do not pose a direct threat to the United States, but they're keeping a very close eye on them. As you would expect, they were shadowed along the coast of Florida over the last several days as they approached the port of Havana.
As Russia faces more international pressure over its war in Ukraine, Moscow is now making a show of force by carrying out military drills in the Atlantic. Russian defense officials say their warships conducted exercises while en route to Cuba for an official visit. NBC News reporter Ed Augustin is live in Havana for me today. So, Ed, are there any nuclear weapons on board these warships? And what more can you tell us about these specific drills that are being conducted?
Ever since the Cuban government announced that the Russian flotilla would pull into Havana, they've been emphasizing that they will not be armed with any nuclear weapons. That's a long-standing Cuban policy, and also Cuba's a signatory of a nuclear non-proliferation treaty signed back in the 1960s that many countries in Latin America and the Caribbean signed, stating that there can be no nuclear weapons in the territory, particularly in Cuba. That was signed shortly after the Cuban Missile Crisis back in 1962. In terms of military drills, it's another story. The Russian Ministry of Defense released video of artillery fire that the flotilla had carried out on the Atlantic a few days before arriving, and that was a military drill. They were firing against a simulated air attack, and this morning, just hours before they pulled into Havana Bay, there was another military drill. This time, though, no artillery was fired. It was purely simulated on computers aboard some of the naval vessels.
You know, Ed, it's not lost on any of us that Havana is only a couple hundred miles from South Florida. What kind of message is this sending, especially as Russian President Putin continues to make threats against the U.S. and our NATO allies?
Cuba is so close to the United States that one woman a few years ago even swam from Cuba to Florida, really, really close, 90 miles away. And of course, this is happening in the midst of the war on Ukraine. And of course, that won't be lost on the Biden administration that says that it is deploying 3 destroyers to surveil and track this Russian deployment.
All right, NBC News reporter Ed Augustin live for us this afternoon. Ed, thank you.
Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button so that way you could be notified of our upcoming videos.